All right. Welcome to 10 Drink Minimum live at Hempfest.
Ooh, I didn't realize how long it would take to set up that.
Yeah, it's a little different than normal, right?
Welcome to 10 Drink Minimum.
Yeah, Michael's here.
Oh my God, I'm alive. I know.
I know, this is the first show Michael's done in
about a month, yeah.
Yeah. Mainly because she's like, I don't like the fans. So if you see Michael in public, make sure you let her know that, you guys are important.
So okay.
Go for it. You go.
I just wanted to mention that we're here at New Mexico Hempfest, here in the lovely Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta Park.
Yeah.
And I've never actually been here before in my life. Like, as the 13 years I've lived here, I've never been. I didn't know what to expect.
Well, this is the first one, so.
Oh,
well, but he's never been to Balloon Fiesta Park.
Oh, that's what he said. Yeah.
He's not been to it. Like he lives in New Mexico, doesn't go to Balloon Fiesta. That's how much locals are not like into it. So this is the first annual Hemp Fest. They gave me this is ran by the Alibi. They gave me a thing to drink out of, my whatever I'm drinking. We do have a guest today. I'm sorry, what was your name, sir?
Bill Delaney.
Bill Delaney. And you came down from Colorado, is that correct?
Pagosa Springs.
Pagosa Springs, man. That's where I went for my 40th birthday to go soak in the hot springs. So that is it one of those places that's really cool to live there, or is it just kind of like annoying that all the tourists come in, or is that fun? I mean, I don't know.
Well, the tourism is our only economy, so we grin and bear it, but I think it's a wonderful place to live, except the food could be better.
You know what's funny is when we went up there, everything was great except every place to eat closed by 10 o'clock.
And don't ever get hungry on a Sunday.
Right.
Oh, yeah, right.
Is it all closed? Everything closed on a Sunday? Is that right?
Yeah, most of the restaurants are closed on Sunday.
Wow. So I think we're streaming live on Facebook as well, so let's wave to people there. This isn't the usual way we do it, but I mean, we're out in the middle of nowhere, and we're lucky to have power. So the reason why we have you on the show is because, I mean, we're at a hemp festival, and of course immediately everybody starts thinking about like, getting high and buying bongs. But they actually, you were one of the guest speakers over here, because you actually are one of the proponents for medicinal marijuana. Is that correct?
Medicinal and recreational.
And recreational. Can you kind of give people a background on what your story is, kind of?
Sure. I was led to it medicinally because I was diagnosed by the Albuquerque VA with Crohn's disease and in a severe case of Crohn's disease in 1999. And I tried every drug that they had for me, and most of the drugs they have for Crohn's are immunosuppressant. They suppress your immune system, so it allowed me to get a stage 2 melanoma cancer on my face in 2007. And then I moved to Colorado, where medical marijuana was already in place, and I tried it, and I couldn't believe that from the first puff that I knew that I had a chance to defeat this incurable disease.
So how long had you been trying, like, to, not just cure, but like treat, as in like no pain, before you finally got to marijuana or hemp, or
I never got beyond pain, or I think that the drugs they give you take care of about 10 to 15% of the problem, and you live with the other 85%.
Wow.
So I tried not only all of the drugs that the VA had to offer, but I also tried a lot of expensive and treatments holistically, because I knew that they said it was incurable, and if they say it's incurable, I had to find a source somewhere else that was going to help me, and that source was marijuana.
Yeah, because I think at some points, you hear when they say incurable, that almost means like they're just kind of like, well, we're at the end. That doesn't mean incurable. I guess it just means they don't have any other.
That's exactly how I took it. When they said they didn't know, I said, well, I'm going to find out.
How many? I mean, I'm sure you don't know, but I mean, how many people out there, when they tell, like, I feel like that there's the medical industry, they'll go, well, there's really nothing left. I feel like how many people out there just at that point go, okay, and they're just done. They're just like, I guess this is where I just live out my life and try to be as pain-free as possible till I die.
And so many people just believe anything a doctor tells them. They don't do any research. They just put the care in the hands of the doctor, and whatever they tell them, whatever drug, they're happy to take it. But if you can find a natural solution without all the harsh drugs, more power to you.
Yeah. I think, too, is like,
And how did you personally come across? Like,
that's a good question.
It was funny. I hadn't used marijuana in 24 years because I'm a recovering alcoholic. And
Okay.
I bought into the concept in treatment that a drug is a drug is a drug. And if I used marijuana, I was going to go back to being the jerk that I was before on alcohol.
Yeah.
And somebody ran a little ad in the personals in the Pagosa paper, and he lived in Durango. And he was a dealer / caregiver. And he ran an ad saying that marijuana is legal medically, and I called him up, and he said, "Well, come out over and see me and look
Come
on
check
the."
it out, yeah.
He said, "Look on the internet first. There's all kinds of information on how Crohn's is defeated by medical marijuana." I drove to Durango. I put on some Depends because I had bowel issues.
Wow.
I put my old dog in the car in case I got arrested. She'd go to the pound, and
so she wouldn't be left in the house.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I bought an eighth. I took it home, and I knew from the first puff, just one puff, it just reminded me of how I used to feel 25 years ago. And fortunately, within 3 months, I was able to put down prescription drugs.
Wow.
So I haven't had a prescription drugs for Crohn's in 8 years.
Wow.
What I think is
But I use lots of marijuana.
That's awesome. What I think is really interesting is the biggest, I watch a lot of sports, and there's a big movement within the National Football League, and it's so interesting because the National Football League has pushed back so much, and it's like they are proponents of these drugs for pain that are like Vicodin and all these hardcore
Narcotics.
opiate narcotic solutions, but those are over the counter and legal, and so they would rather the
prescribed
players,
but still legal.
use something like that than marijuana, which to me clearly is the safer of any of that.
The NBA has been using marijuana legally for about 30 years. Their Players Association did not allow them to include marijuana as one of the privileged drugs.
I didn't know that. That's pretty.
And I think once, you're right on the NFL, I think that once the NFL accepts it, because they're the heroes to so many of the people who
Absolutely.
dislike marijuana, that I think they'll start looking at it differently. There's a lotion, it's called Apothecana is the brand name, but it's amazing for surface pain, for muscle and joint aches and stuff like that. It's so mind-boggling that you would have to take an opioid.
Right. As I was saying, okay, because you started with smoking, but did it evolve into every kind of, I guess, ingested form of cannabis?
Yeah, but bear in mind, the time I started smoking was 2008, and there was nothing else available. We had medical marijuana cards, but we were buying from dealers, and it was just street pot. But even that was what got me over the hump. Now that we have all this whole range of sophisticated products, the sky's the limit.
Because there's a lot of people that just can't handle inhaling smoke, and I think people, especially here with the tinctures, the edibles, the different ways of ingesting it, I think it's a whole new era of just.
There's even suppositories.
That's what I've heard.
The funny thing about smoking is, though, if you have digestive issues, there's nothing better than smoking. And for nausea, if you have nausea from chemo or something like that, you take a puff of marijuana, it's gone. You eat an edible, and you're going to have to wait an hour to get some relief. But for some reason, smoking, just for anything to do with the digestive tract, is great. And I think it changed the pH system. My whole body was too acidic before, and just by smoking, it changed that pH balance too.
That's awesome.
And so, is there a way, say somebody who doesn't want to deal with the mental effects of smoking pot or taking edibles, is there just a way to get the benefits without feeling with the altered state?
CBDs. Have you heard of CBD?
Yeah, well, they're
That's
talking
the
about this
difference,
over
yeah.
here in this booth over here. What is that?
There's roughly 85 chemical compounds in the marijuana plant, and the most well-known, of course, is THC. That's the one that gives you the high or the relaxation.
Right.
But CBD is one of those, and it's one that they just started cultivating in the last 5 years or so.
Okay.
And CBD doesn't have any psychotropic properties to it. So it doesn't affect your mind, but it does give you the inflammation and the pain-killing properties for your body.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's
so
pretty cool.
you can absolutely get rid of pain and inflammation without getting high.
And because I understand, employers or anybody always test, I guess, for THC, right? So, is CBD okay to
I think it still has a minor.
It has trace amounts. Yeah.
1 to 3% or something.
Yeah, it has. In order to qualify, I think it has to be not more than 0.03.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Okay. And you to see this new climate of just kind of acceptance and the culture kind of shifting. You've been fighting for, I guess, legalization for years. Do you see any hope in the next few years?
He lives in a state where it is legal.
Oh yeah, but in New Mexico though.
Yeah.
Or like nationwide.
Because even this festival here, we talked with the people who run it, and there was quite a bit of pushback. They were told that you cannot. Wow, that's a rough situation right there. But they were told that they had to go. Basically, they couldn't sell any paraphernalia that was someone could construe to be used for smoking weed.
Well, let's take this thought a step further.
Yeah.
I wanted to do the right thing. I'm licensed in Colorado, and we can't advertise down here. So I called our licensing bureau and said that I was going to speak down here and we were going to have a booth at a trade show, and they said that's not a problem.
Right.
So to know I wasn't stepping on any New Mexico toes, I called the head lady who's the head of compliance with your Board of Health.
Yeah.
And I said, we're coming down, we're doing a booth, and I'm bringing hemp shirts and hemp bags. She said, sir, hemp is illegal in New Mexico. That might become a law enforcement issue.
Wow.
And I said, ma'am, growing and selling hemp in Mexico might be illegal right now, but selling and buying hemp shirts certainly isn't. There's no law against.
Absolutely not.
But that's how she's the head of compliance, and that's what her thinking was.
Has she not been to a Hot Topic in the mall?
I told her, I said, wherever you're sitting, ma'am, some store is selling a hemp shirt within 2 miles of you right now.
Absolutely, they are. At the mall.
But that's how uninformed she was. That it was a law enforcement issue that you can't own a hemp shirt in New Mexico.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess that's her probably. I don't know. Maybe she. I don't know. I assume she was fucking with you, because I mean, that's ridiculous to say that there's people in New Mexico that are wearing hemp shirts and they get arrested. I mean, that's anywhere you go. Just go to the state fair. You just literally just load them in a trailer. They sell them at the state fair. Probably a hemp leaf with 505 right across it, and then Tupac on the back with Marilyn Monroe
as a skeleton or something.
Yeah, Marilyn Monroe with a skeleton face. Yeah. So I think that's ridiculous.
You talk about the politics of the two states. I really believe if I hadn't moved to Pagosa Springs in 2005. That if I wasn't dead today, that the best case scenario for me was that I would have a pouch, because the VA wanted to remove my whole colon and rectum.
Wow.
And hollowing me out from my chest to my butt.
Wow.
And that was the life that I was looking forward to, and so I tried marijuana as an alternative.
Oh, geez, I would be
a little softer approach.
I would be trying anything that there was like any kind of research whatsoever.
I would have eaten dog shit.
Right. If they're like, if you eat dog poop, it'll help you. Yeah, absolutely. I'll try that. Didn't have your colon and rectum removed?
Yeah.
Jesus. That's intense, man. So what's your advice to people out there that, they don't know, that don't have any idea? Where should they go? What should they do?
Well, if you can here in New Mexico, see a doctor and get a card and start buying marijuana products from the dispensaries. But even if you're buying it illegally, and you're trying it medically, it can't hurt anybody. Nobody has ever died from this in the history of mankind.
No.
People don't OD and go to hospitals on this.
No.
It won't hurt you. If you feel uncomfortable and you don't like the head association with it, sit down, and in 2 hours that'll pass and you'll be back to normal and nothing's been harmed. But give it a try, because all of the drugs that the doctors have are pretty toxic.
I mean, people, that's the craziest part. Is like you have all these people that get addicted to opiates for pain, because they're in pain, and then once they're addicted, then they have to go to rehab, and then they have to break the addiction to that. Then they can no longer take the opiates. So then what do they do for pain?
And now the doctors are just cutting people off from the opioids too. So cold turkey.
Yeah. I remember I knew someone that had an opium bag in their body, inside their body. If you don't know what that is, it's when you're in such intense pain, they actually insert a device inside of you that has opium in it that slowly releases the opium, because of the a lot of people take opiates with pills. Well, pills have buffers, and the buffers destroy your digestive system. So they'll put these bags inside of people and they'll release opiates. So every once in a while you have to go and they stick a big needle in you to refill the bag. And I'm like, man, that's when you're. I can't imagine living a life where you're just having opium just slowly leaking into your system.
And can you imagine that you could maybe replace that with just smoking something or eating an edible or something benign?
Yeah, just drinking a drink. Like, yeah, I'm gonna drink, or rubbing something on your body.
Yeah.
Some sort of like, medicinal salve. That's really awesome, man. I mean, I'm glad you came down. I'm glad you spoke here. I hope you don't feel like you said you felt like maybe this wasn't a trip. I kind of feel like if you reach 1 to 5 people, I mean, and you change someone else's life, I mean, that's enough to validate anything.
I agree.
Because imagine if someone would have said something earlier and you would have saw it. And so I think it's great you came over and talked to us. My dad, so you go to the VA. So what branch of the military were you in?
Navy.
Okay. Did you fight in Vietnam or?
I was over there on a ship, and we were just blowing up trees.
Okay. My dad is a Marine, so you guys hauled him somewhere probably, and he fought. He was a gunner on a helicopter, and Sea Stallion, and he fought in Quezon, and he has. Ever since I've been alive, he has no hearing in one ear, and so he gets 100% disability for type 2 diabetes, and so it's kind of interesting now, the political climate. There's a little bit of worry that the benefits might be lost. I mean, do you feel that the same way, or?
No, I think everything I hear in the news that they're trying to increase the benefits.
Really?
Everybody
Okay.
wants the support of the veterans
Because there was a bill he was talking about that they were talking about maybe taking some away from the veterans, and I was like, that's really ridiculous.
No, my hat's off to your dad and anybody who fought in that war. It was a nasty war.
Yeah.
And they came home to an unsympathetic country, too.
Correct. Yeah, very correct.
Now veterans are put up on a pedestal.
And that's good.
Then we grew our hair long and tried to blend in real quick.
Right. Yeah, my dad. Yeah, he was like, that's where I learned to love the Doors and stuff like that. My dad was like, yeah, I got this in Vietnam. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So, man, it's been great talking to you. What was your name again?
Bill Delaney.
Bill Delaney. So, tell people where they can. Do you guys have a website? You have a dispensary in Pagosa Springs.
We have a recreational dispensary in Pagosa Springs serving people 21 and over. Our website is www.goodearthmeds. Good Earth Meds is the name of our company. Yeah. We specialize in a lot of healthy products, but we also grow in soil organically.
Wow.
We have nice, tasty, dense buds and some of the best health products in the business. And we got wonderful customer service. Come meet our staff.
I have a couple of questions about the medicinal, the legalization in Colorado, because we can't fathom it here. We don't have the legalized weed here, and so I had someone come back from Colorado a couple weeks ago, and they said that there's some people there that complain about it. That now when you go out, and some of the service industry people aren't very good because they're high at work. I mean, has that been the case? I mean, is that?
I haven't been to other dispensaries in Pagosa.
Oh, no. I'm talking about like you go to a restaurant and the wait staff's high.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't think so. And none of the DUIs have increased significantly there. There's no rise in children using marijuana. There's been nothing but benefits, and the tax benefits are amazing.
So can you tell us a little more about that? That way people here know. Because, I mean, we hear things, but see, it's all like, is it either propaganda or is it real? So what are the tax benefits of that?
I don't know what the percentage is, but there's a certain percentage right off the top of all the marijuana sales tax that are collected go to our school system. I know a couple of years ago the little town of Pagosa Springs got a $50,000 grant.
Jeez.
It had to be used for taking kids out of the school on kind of educational programs.
That's awesome.
No, it was fabulous. Also, the sales tax has gone up about 10% in the town of Pagosa. So every business in Pagosa, if somebody comes to Pagosa maybe seeking one of the dispensaries, if they're buying gas or buying lunch or going to hot springs, that's contributing to the local economy too.
Okay.
Our politicians they fought me tooth and nails in the beginning, and now they're so in favor of it because there's been no bad repercussions.
No.
It's a benign product. It makes people go home and do peaceful things. It doesn't make you want to get in your car and drive crazy.
Roving gang of stoners isn't attacking people in town? No.
Don't go home and beat their wife.
No, they go home and watch the IT crowd and eat peanut butter. Right.
Do you remember the publication that you saw that first ad in? Was it like a penny saver?
No, it was in our local newspaper. It was in the personal section, which I never read before.
That's amazing.
I was just bored and kind of looking through there, and it struck my fancy.
It is amazing how one moment can change your life that you never even imagined, right?
Yeah, because I never ever thought I'd go back to marijuana again.
Because that's the funniest thing is like when they asked us the alibis, like, hey guys, can you come out and do a show at the Hempfest? I'm like, sure. I assume a certain stereotype, and you are not that stereotype whatsoever. And I think that's amazing. And you're like, I use it recreational, I use it for medicinal, and after hearing your story, it's changed your life.
And we run one of the most highly scrutinized businesses in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Myself, my management team, and everybody, we're doing math problems all day long. You can't be stupid and run this business.
No.
But you can be smart and use marijuana. That's my thought.
Here's a good question. So you used it 20 years ago. What's the quality of the weed now compared to 20 years ago? How much has it changed?
It's better, but I was kind of a fringe player in the music industry out in California in the 70s and 60s, so
that's all you have to say.
I got some of the better products in those days.
I remember being
that's all you had to say.
Being like a teenager and having to break away seeds, and that doesn't happen anymore. It's like
kids will never know that.
Kids will never know how to break away.
They won't get a record out and then break a brick up on the record and use a credit card. And
it's just like the driest.
I know.
But now you can get like a gram, and it's like the most potent thing I've ever smoked.
It's gonna knock you out.
Because we were in California back then. No, New Mexico and Texas was just straight up
dirt weed.
Skunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, marijuana was semi-legal in San Francisco in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, really?
I've walked past police people walking with a joint, and just don't be disrespectful. Those are the only boundaries.
That's pretty cool.
That seems like okay. As far as, of course, it's legal in state-wise, but do you ever feel the looming kind of like fear of a federal kind of raid?
Mandate or raid?
I didn't until we had this crazy person in charge.
Yeah.
And
that's what I was trying to allude to earlier, yeah.
And it kind of concerns me that they're making a despicable person in my eyes. Chris Christie is going to be the head of the opioid crisis.
Yeah, because he knows.
48, yeah. Well, he's so... He cares about treating people and wrapping his arms around them. He just cares about putting them in jail.
Correct.
But I think that the genie's out of the bottle, that enough good has been done by this in so many states that there's no turning back.
Well, that's good.
But I don't trust this group in Washington. I just hope they don't blow up the world in the meantime.
Yeah. To me, it's like the drug problem. The drug thing is like the minimum right now for me. So, right on, man. Well, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. Yes.
Oh, of course.
Yes, we can.
Is it true that CBD has been put on the Schedule 1, like THC is, like heroin is?
It's considered the same as THC, I believe. I don't think they specifically want to put CBD in there, but it's as long as it has any trace amounts. I know. I think that states are trying to make the hemp oil legal so that it can treat the children.
Right.
And it has trace amounts of THC, so that's what the DEA and those people are triggering on, is that there's still trace amounts of THC, which is silly. I mean, it doesn't affect, there's not enough to affect the mind.
It's just another layer of silly.
Yeah. But we've come a long way. There's a long way to go, but we've come a long way, and thank you, gentlemen, for having this
Absolutely.
available.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Mr.
man.
Delaney.
So
right.
give out your dispensary in Pagosa Springs one more time.
We're called Good Earth Meds, and we're out by the airport. We've been there for 8 or 9 years, and
Nice.
we've got a wonderful staff come out and see us, and we can school you on a lot of the health products recreationally. So all you need is a driver.
You're one of the. You've already schooled us quite a bit here because I mean, we're very ignorant. Like we were asked to do. I mean, we're 10 drink minimum. We definitely drink a lot of booze, which isn't the best thing possible. And so they asked us to come out here and do this, and I was like, all right, because like I said, I kind of wanted to hear like some of the things and learn some of the things, and have our audience be privy to what you had to say. So you're kind of the perfect candidate to come over here and sit with.
Oh,
us.
yeah.
So that's awesome.
I just think we're so blessed to live in an enlightened society where, at least state-wise in Colorado, we can use marijuana. We can go home and medicate without looking out the window. And that was the thing that spurred me to open a dispensary. Was I had a card in my pocket, it was helping me, and I couldn't tell a soul that it was helping me.
Awesome.
Yeah, so the stigma has to be lifted, and little by little. You guys are doing your part. Thank you. I
No
appreciate
problem,
it.
man. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for
Thank
your
you.
service. And, thank you for being, one of the advocates for this, for something like this. So
It's this great movement. I think
awesome,
it's you.
In
Amazing.
a nutshell, marijuana works.
there you go. Thanks a lot, man. Cool, man. So, so we're still live here. We're down here in Hempfest.
You can wave to the camera.
Yeah.
We're live.
And
via
we're
Facebook.
gonna bring on somebody who's no stranger to the
a
audience.
great friend of the show.
A great friend of the show. Though I will have to say he has added a pretty sweet beard. So we've got from Broken Trail Distilling, one of the best friends this show has ever had, Matt Simons. Yes,
One of the
yes,
finest.
Yes.
That's very important. I think for the 3 o'clock show, we should
Yeah.
find somebody who is just as informative.
Yeah.
And like maybe ask different kind of because that was amazing.
Can I do it very Bryant Gumbels like? I'll be all
Very interesting.
very very interesting.
Because basically like I'd say by 5 o'clock hour, then you'll have enough Broken Trail. Then we're gonna ask the real
It's
question.
going to be the serious wavy hour.
It's like how high have you ever been?
So we're down here at Balloon Fiesta Park, Hempfest. It's free to get in.
well,
It is
dollar parking. but-
$1 to park. Albuquerque, come on. You like free shit. There's a live music. There's a alcohol garden. I'm not going to say beer garden. There's an alcohol garden because they have alcohol and beer. Can you tell us about that, Matt?
We've got our Holy Ghost vodka. We've got a cucumber vodka today. We're doing mojitos. Yeah. Watermelon vodka. We've got our beer lineup. We've got, of course, Pepe the Mule.
the signature.
I was just showing everyone my Hempfest thing.
Right. It's important to stay hydrated.
Yes,
It
sir.
is.
At all times.
Correct. sir.
Happy to help. Happy to
Thank
help.
you. Thank you.
No, but actually, we were kind of like ignorant to the idea of what was going to actually happen today because this is
Yeah.
the first hemp festival that
First
that's gonna-
one, man.
First one, and then we looked over our shoulder, and there was a line of cars to get in.
That's
And there's
fantastic.
still a line of
Still- I
cars
mean,
to
Still a
do.
line of cars to get in.
Is the beer garden? How's the beer garden going? Or
I'm
sorry, alcohol garden.
The beer and vodka and rum and everything
They're
else
flowing.
garden is doing well. We've got tons of our bar staff there to make sure we keep the line moving. And
Yeah. And I is it correct that like the state kind of pushed back on you even being here?
They were a little concerned that perhaps there be marijuana
What?
at Hempfest, and that somehow that would confuse people. I don't really know. We definitely got or pushback, and we never really got an explanation of why or how. Or is that me popping?
I don't know who that is.
And
Could be.
Yeah, it was really odd, and so we had to basically tell them that we're not there's like the doctors aren't out, the dispensaries are here to educate, but we're it's not a big hot box at the Balloon Fiesta Park. I don't know. It just was really odd.
I love this. I love this dance that we all do as a society. We're like, oh, you guys can have a festival that has something to do with hemp, but you're going to have to take and put a flyer up that says everything is for tobacco use only.
Right.
There's nobody. I mean, there's no one gonna go buy the gas mask bong, and then they're gonna go. I'm gonna put some pipe tobacco in this.
Although, just because you said that, I kind of want to try it.
Right?
First with cigarettes.
There you go.
And first of all, when Chris
She
actually
smelled like cigarettes.
when Chris actually pitched the idea of doing Hempfest, I'm like, oh yeah, nice. There's going to be like hemp clothing, maybe some bracelets, maybe like a dream catcher that was made out of hemp.
I got my hemp sandals.
Yeah, so I thought it was one of the
hemp clothing?
but then I
Right.
saw the flyer of the big marijuana leaves. Like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
I get it. I thought there was going to be some
Let
wares.
It Grow is playing later, Billy.
I haven't heard any bands. We heard Adam Hooks earlier.
No, we heard Adam.
No,
so
yeah.
he's coming by later. Wow, there's so I'm
that-
looking over at the Alibi booth. It says you can get a chair or you can get a massage. $1 per minute.
I'll be back in 20 minutes.
Oh, snap.
There you go.
Uh-oh. Our friend Alex is in the crowd. She's floating around. She's floating around.
But thank you for doing this, Matt. I am so happy that Broken Trail was here to.
I'm happy you got when you posted a couple days ago that why it didn't occur to me to even ask a month ago if you guys were doing this.
We even talked about doing festivals together.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and so I saw your post and I'm like, oh, dude, hell yeah.
When's the next one? Are we doing the next one? We'll do with you.
We will make that a freaking point. We're gonna do Mountain West Brew Fest.
Where's that
at?
Nice.
Down at Balloon Fiesta Park.
Here.
I'm sorry, in Bernalillo.
Oh, Bernalillo. We could.
I haven't slept in like 3 days. Just forgive me.
We could forgo our not leaving Albuquerque for the summer thing to go.
Well, it's Labor Day weekend, which, as you may know, is the unofficial end of summer. Not on a astronomical point of view, but you can start wearing long sleeve shirts. And
let me tell you this cool story about Labor Day weekend this year. I have the entire week off, Matt.
Dude.
So that Friday before Labor Day, I get off work and I don't go back to work for till 2 weekends.
You do go to work, my friend.
I don't know.
It's just your new job.
Yeah.
Is being right next to Broken Trail, 10-drink minimum.
I'm in. You got me. Done.
I mean, that beer ain't quality assured in itself, okay?
That's true. I'll be all, Matt, this one's a little hot. And you're like, well, yeah, left it out.
Chug it.
You need to actually put ice on that. I'll be all, Matt.
Right.
I just tell you the problems. You fix them.
And I'd be like, but I'm passing out because I've been drinking since 8 yesterday morning.
I want to tell the people watching live, maybe via Facebook, you guys have the entire alcohol garden over here. You have a Sandia Peak.
We do. That's our watermelon lemonade, vodka watermelon lemonade.
I had it before noon. I'm sorry, guys. It was before noon. I don't have to work any industrial equipment. No, no big bulldozers. Then I had the mojito.
What'd you think of the mojito?
Excellent. Oh,
yeah,
excellent.
I'm gonna have to test that out. I haven't had it yet.
Louise.
Some fresh mint and, of course, my guy. And you went to the old standby.
Yeah. Oh, she did. Yeah. What did Michael get?
The good old Pepe Mule.
I got the mojito. It was good.
Right.
It was great.
I'm not saying I don't have Pepe the Mule right now, but I'm just saying I had Pepe the Mule.
I'm a little thirsty. Could I refresh myself with some of your
interesting
water?
Let's see what we can do. Let's see what can happen here.
We have the technology.
We have the technology.
We have the means.
We have the means.
So there's this a
ingenuity.
right across the way from us, this thing called Hemposium. So imagine it's like a stream of speakers that try to encourage or just educate people about the benefits of cannabis, and this place is great.
Yeah, and I feel like as the day goes on, because this is from noon to 9.
Thank you.
We're going to be out here till probably about 7, so come out and say hello.
Yeah, and actually that guest we had, Mr. Delaney.
Did you hear that guy, Annie?
Just the tail end of it, but it sounded pretty awesome.
He has Crohn's disease.
Uh-huh.
And they told him they were going to remove his colon and anus. And so he decided instead of letting them do that, he would give marijuana a try. And immediately it had an effect on him, and it's worked out so much for him that now he owns a dispensary.
No, he actually, that was the last resort because he tried doctors.
Yeah, and they told him there was nothing else they could do.
He tried like the holistic healing, didn't work. But it was only until he got the hand of smoking weed, and then
well, and like, not to be crass about what is otherwise a really, really awesome story, but at the point that they're going to carve out your asshole,
right?
Like, I'm pretty sure I'd try anything.
Yeah, that's what he said. He goes, I would eat dog shit. He literally said, I would have ate dog shit if they told me that was a help.
The miracle cure, right? And that's what I think is really cool about what's going on out here today is some of this education stuff that when you've exhausted your other solutions, or maybe some of the other solutions aren't right for you, or they're not going to work, or they they're here's this product that can help a lot of people with a lot of things.
You just rub a salve on your asshole and fix it, man. And I that man, hearing that guy's story, I'm just like, shit, man.
And like my aunt, after her, she had breast cancer, and after she had all of her surgeries, she got her medical card, and she uses marijuana on a daily basis to help with her pain.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and it's honestly the CBD is what people are mostly getting out of it. Yeah, you have the THC, which is the recreational side, but the CBD is what is helping out kids and people who have seizures and all this stuff that happens. And that's what helps them out the most.
Yeah, I heard this story where I don't know. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube, and people like their kids have seizures, like they literally have just seizures all the time. And then they like started treating them with THC. Did it work? Oh, start treating them with THC, and the kids stop having seizures.
Mm-hmm.
But then people are like, "Oh, you're giving your kid drugs," and it's like, okay, but
we'll drop them with ADHD meds all day long.
All day long.
And
all these toxic meds that aren't really good for you at all.
Of Adderall.
A little bit of laudanum.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, did anybody hear like about the Tiger Woods? Like they came out last week.
What is toxicology?
This toxicology report, right? So here was
how much alcohol was in his system?
None. Zero. He had Vicodin, laudanum, Xanax, Ambien, and THC.
Yeah.
All those in the system. And
it was
like,
my anxiety med.
Yeah. So then, like, people were like, "Well, if you're in pain," I'm like, "Wait a minute. If I took an Ambien, I would be out." And I'm 6'2".
I mean, there's ways to counteract
280
it.
pounds.
It's like you take some Ambien and then you take some.
No, those are all downers. There was not a single upper in that group.
He must have been just having a good time. It's like I'm awake.
Well, this was in Florida, right?
And then he says, I just like driving. He's like, where are you going? He's like, I like driving. I'm like,
no, did you hear like where he said he was? He thought he was in California. And he was
I didn't hear that one.
Oh, yeah. And he was in Florida. He was like polar opposite of the country. Like, where do you think you are? And he thought he was in California. And I was like, I sit there and they're like, well, he needs to go to rehab. And I'm like, there's a lot of people I disagree on that with. Tiger Woods said he needs to go to rehab.
Right.
He might be in that much pain. He might need THC.
In his defense, though, here's a dude that was used to his sexual addiction. The withdrawals from that, I'm sure, are a bear. And we all know that part of recovery is sometimes substitution.
Sure.
And so, like, if I were having sex with 20 or so women a day, I might replace that
from the Waffle House.
Yeah, and changing that out for zero, I'd probably replace it with some pretty fucked up drugs.
Which was just supposed to be for his back.
Matt's like, I'm a business owner, but let me get down to brass.
Let me just get down to the nitty gritty.
And I was like, well, they're for his back surgery that he just had, or the multiple back surgeries, and it's like.
He did, he did, and he plays golf. I mean, that's a.
I mean,
if you swing a big club, I mean, that hurts.
Which he apparently does.
Yo. I was like, they're like, we have the toxicology report, and like, so many people like just did not read it, and I was like, oh, I want to see this because.
But I mean, I guess the sympathy meter for me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you play golf for a living.
Yeah.
You have a sex addiction.
Uh-huh.
Like your disability is that you have to have sex.
Yeah.
And you've got all these drug problems.
Well, here's how I would handle it as the first human being to reach $1 billion by paychecks. Here's how I would handle that. I'd be like, yeah, I do lots of drugs.
Well, I mean, and that's
like what?
You would almost have more respect for him if that he's like, yeah, I was getting fucked up and wanted to go for a joyride.
Well, when is our society going to take that turn, where you're like, well, this guy, he said all this shit, and here he comes. He's going to do a press conference, and he's going to say like, yeah, so I crashed my car. I was really messed up on Vicodin and THC and all this, but. Now you're going no regrets. Had a good time.
Right. If he's like, and it was worth it.
Had a real great time. No one got hurt. My car got messed up, but I have $1 billion.
Right.
Well, I only have like half of that now because I got divorced because of all the hoes I've been sleeping with.
Because of my sex addiction.
Sex addiction.
I mean,
Do you feel like he just so it's half of my earnings, like, so he has so
I got only $500 million.
I only have $500 million.
But
I feel sorry for myself.
My kids will still be rich. But what I'm gonna do now is these drugs.
well,
But I'm gonna get a driver. Is that cool? If I get a driver, I can still do drugs.
I think so.
Oh my God, he didn't think of. Well, of course he was probably lit as hell, but it's like I could just got a driver. What the hell?
And you know how many jokes? He could have. He hires a driver. I'd be like, oh, pulling out my driver. Oh, my 5 wood. He's like, what's your name? My name's Steven. I'm your new driver. No, sir. Your name is 3 wood.
You're right. Your name is Titleist.
Yeah. Your name is Big Dog. You're my main driver. You're 3 wood. You drive when he's sick.
Right. You drive the sports car. If we're just going for a spin around the block, you're putter.
And then every time he gets in the car, what's up, big dog? You want to eat?
Yeah.
Let the big dog eat.
Well, and that's actually, that's kind of a funny, I guess, side conversation. But you see these athletes in general that, it's off season and you make millions of dollars a year.
Yeah.
Just hire a driver.
Yeah.
Hire.
That Tiger Woods is going to be the first billionaire.
Hello, we have
To
a
make,
guest, Miss Jewel. I'm doing well.
We're barely here.
Hello, everybody.
Hey. Wave at the camera.
I'd really like to know where you got your face painted. That's awesome.
Look at this. That's like the kid version of like Mike Tyson's tattoo.
From where?
That's pretty sweet.
So an old coworker of mine just came up and just said hello. Thank you for coming by. This is
Right on. We should go get
a little show.
Broken Trail on our face.
And
It's on our forehead, and then I'll be like, I just woke up, guys. What's wrong with my face?
and you can say hello to the world. We're live.
We're live and living color. Yeah. Can you show them your face paint? Look right in that one right there. Show me. There you go. You're perfect. That's a perfect shot. What's your name?
Asa Jade Blue.
Say it again.
Asa Jade Blue.
Oh, Asia J. Ballou. I bet your teacher loves that in class. Like, you're in the 4th grade.
My teacher's name is Mr. Ipple.
Mr. what?
Mr. Ipple.
So Mr. Ipple gets in the class. He's like, Aria, Alana, Asia J. Ballou.
And he just high fives. He's like, "Thank you for having a unique name like me."
Right. It's probably like, okay, Angela B, Angela C, Angela D.
No, Matt.
Asia Jade Ballou. Yeah!
Matt, everyone names their kids after Game of Thrones characters.
Well, true. All right.
It's like, we have Khaleesi 1, Khaleesi 2.
Which isn't even. Then you're like that super nerd teacher. You're like Khaleesi, which isn't even her name. But I guess it's your name.
And for some reason, there's like 5 Nevaehs. Just like 5 of them.
Here, let me get my mic because I've never done this before.
The one professional in the group. And she's like not even talking into the microphone.
I'm a little loopy. I'm sorry.
Here, you should rehydrate. You're probably dehydrated.
This is our first show out of 3 that we're having
We're
today.
going to do 2 more live down here at the Hempfest.
How you guys doing?
Yes. Thank you for coming by.
Hello.
Thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate it.
Hello
Yes.
and goodbye.
See, the way they're talking about that guy right there would be arrested because they were like, you can't wear hemp clothing. I'm like, are you shitting? Have they walked around in Albuquerque?
Right.
Here's what I would tell. So the guy that Matt replaced, he was like, yeah, I called them and said I wanted to come down there and I want to talk about marijuana. And they're like, they even like, he's like, we're going to sell clothing that says hemp on it. And they're like, well, that's illegal. And I was like, okay, well, I want you to tell the guy on Central on Sunday in the lowrider that he needs to take the marijuana shirt off.
Because I'm offended.
Or everything out of Hot Topic in the back.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. I always wondered that. How is it like Hot Topic just gets away with like basically, like the farther you go in the store, the more like just filthy as shit it gets.
I have no idea.
You're like,
I wonder that too.
It's like there's like different tiers of it. Like the first quarter of
it's
it
like
is,
Saved by the Bell funny shirts,
and then after it's like kind of band shirts.
there's some dragons with like crystals in their claw.
But once you get to the back,
It's a couple of dildos. Yeah,
you're selling sex toys at
it's
that
sex
point.
toys. It's yeah. How do they get away with not Hot Topic? Spencer's. I'm sorry, Spencer's. We're talking about Spencer's. in
Oh,
the
that's
store.
right. It is Spencer's.
Like the farther you go back into Spencer's, the filthier it gets. And then you have like, I don't know, back in the day, you'd have the T-shirt which would have all the sexual positions on it.
Yes,
Would have,
like the lizards doing it, funny
yeah,
styles.
right,
Yeah,
right. And that was silly.
That was health class
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, it was health class. Yeah, you learned how to have sex from Spencer's Gifts.
right. You'd flip through the posters because there were the 2 or 3 in the middle that like showed half of a woman's nipple.
Yeah,
and I'm
right.
like, oh yeah.
So Matt and I, I'm 42. Are you close to
I'm
that?
37.
You're 37? I didn't realize.
I think.
I always assumed you were closer. So what was
I'm
the
45.
Oh.
I'm just very mature. No, I'm
No.
37-ish.
What was the hot woman poster when you were a teenager?
Oh, that's a good question.
I know exactly who they were from
Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Yeah.
For mine it was Samantha Fox.
Oh yeah.
And I only knew who Samantha Fox was because at the back of the Thrasher, they would have these posters of Samantha Fox, and she was just topless. And I was like, well, I have to order those posters. from
Right.
this magazine. 'Cause-
And then you ordered it, and it was like you filled out a little form.
yes, I'm 18. Yeah, yes, I am 18.
It
Please let this work. Please
It
let
wasn't
this work.
like, are you 18? Click. Yes, I am.
Clickbait.
It wasn't that way.
No.
The irony, like, it was really hard back then to. I mean, again, I'm going through the mall, sneaking into the back of Spencer's to see
Of
half of
course
a
you are.
girl's nipple. And today, like, when my kids are old, it'd be like it'd just be on, like on this thing called the internet.
Oh yeah. I wonder who the hot like it girl is now for like if you got. Do kids have posters?
No, I mean
Not
there's
as much anymore,
Yeah,
no.
I think that kind of like
that day and age
cultural
is
lexicon gone. Like there's
I wanna
because
talk
the
to this
internet
guy.
exists.
Can you come up here for a second? No, you don't want to come in for a second. All right.
How you doing?
I want to ask him a question. I had a question for him. Can you
We have we want to take audience like feedback.
all I'm going to ask is like, what was the hot girl poster when you were a teenager? Can you answer that question in the microphone?
The pinup, yeah.
And I don't remember.
Oh, come on, bullshit.
I think
Call
for me,
bullshit on that. I
no,
don't
no,
remember
to me,
he
like
said.
I was
Marilyn Monroe, Rita Hayworth. I mean, there's some.
Mine
Yeah.
was Pamela Anderson. Was like
I forgot about Pamela. I was never a Pamela fan.
What?
Really? I mean, of course. I mean, I don't know. I was like, she's there. I mean, cool. So it was
Yeah.
Samantha Fox. And then, which mic is that? That's doing that. Is it hers?
Who knows?
Okay.
You got a booth out here? Or?
Yeah.
we
They're the beer garden.
Oh, do you?
yeah, right there in the middle.
Yeah.
Go grab some Pepe.
So the Samantha Fox was one for me, and then I had a Mr. T poster. I had all the Iron Maiden posters,
Mm-hmm.
and it was weird. Here's the weirdest part: I knew more about Iron Maiden later, and like I knew nothing about their music. If someone would have came in my room and be like, "Wow, you really like Iron Maiden," I'd be like, "I have no idea what songs they sing."
No, Eddie was
Those-
brutal, man.
Those
Like,
were the cool posters, man.
Yeah.
But then. Now I know a lot about Iron Maiden, and I listen to some Iron Maidens from time to time. I like it.
I had a lot of airplane posters, and like that's something like airplanes and like cars. Like
SR-71
yes,
Blackbird. Yeah.
oh, I love that.
Yes.
In fact, I can picture the poster in my mind. Just that,
Lamborghini,
right?
Countach.
But I mean, at least the cars. There's I guess a connection that perhaps someday I will own a car. It probably won't be any of these posters, but I'm never going to own an F-16.
No. And like
As much as I try.
the funny thing is, like when I was a kid, the Lamborghini Countach was like the big.
Yes.
Hold on. Can you talk on that mic, Matt?
Testing.
Okay. So the Lamborghini Countach was like the big car back in those days, and then like what's that show? Top Gear.
Yes.
They did a whole thing on it, like how it was like the poster that every kid had.
Right.
And those cars like leaked oil. They were fucking fit. Like they would break down, and everybody it was like this like idea
You're right.
of a car.
concept of it and the visual
Right.
appeal of it. I mean,
Right.
I think more than anything, it was just this sexy
It was
car.
And I remember the first time I ever saw one in person. It was in Las Vegas, and this artist in Las Vegas, apparently, who was super rich, had bought one and then painted dolphins on the fucking thing. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's like blue
That's almost like
with a
just,
dolphin on the side and sparkles.
In a weird freaking way, like if I get to the when I get to the point that I can afford those types of
Yeah.
cars, I'm gonna have one painted with dolphins on it.
Yeah.
Just because I can. Like if you can afford one,
Yeah,
you can afford two.
right.
I saw my dream car last night in Knob
Well,
Hill. Actually.
oh, really? What
Yeah.
was that?
A 1967 Ford Cobra.
A 1967 Ford Cobra?
Yeah.
That's
So-
a sexy car.
My old boss from the company I worked for, Computer, had a 1967 Ford Cobra.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
but that
One
was,
of-
that was a
But
weird
even
year
like,
because
the one last night was even the exact color that I would want to get.
That's a kit car that you probably saw.
Probably. Oh, I know
So
for a
it's
fact it
very-
was a kit car.
So there's only 6 of those,
yeah.
and he has one.
Wow.
And he
An
only drives
original.
it on Sundays.
you know what? How,
Yeah.
Okay, so say
But the company was struggling and
say
barely could pay us.
say you didn't say you had a lot of money, but you couldn't get your hand on a one of whatever 6. Couldn't you just build one yourself?
Kit
Yeah,
car.
it's called a kit car.
Oh, okay.
And there's a lot of 1967
Kit
Ford
cars, yeah.
Cobras around,
Kit
and
car.
there are a lot of kit cars. So if you see one driving around, it's most usually a
Most
kit car.
likely a kit car.
Because they're worth so much money. It's like ridiculous amounts of money. And so if you had it, you're going to drive it maybe, but rarely.
You know,
It's
I'm
like in a
actually
parade,
once I have
you know?
enough money, it's just gonna 3D print it, like the original.
Just straight up from the ground up.
The ground up. The thing is, like, it's gonna be the first Cobra that ever came out, and I'm gonna 3D print it.
So what I'm going to do is, because I'm smart, is I'm going to buy one of the 6, overpay for it, then not even drive it, film it live streaming and on YouTube, and have it just driven and slammed into a wall. See how many hits I can get.
Why the hell would you do that?
Because I'm a millionaire and I don't care.
Yeah.
That just hurt my heart. I was like, oh.
And then I go, take that at the very end.
Right.
So Matt,
You damn car.
you do a lot of these festivals, then, right?
We tried to, yeah.
And how long of a day do you think that is when you do one of these things?
This is one of the longest we've done. We'll be serving alcohol for about 10 hours. We were at the distillery at 8 this morning. Probably get back around 11 o'clock. Most of them we're serving for 5 or 6 hours. So that's, an 8-10 hour day.
Damn.
This one's going to be a marathon, but
We've been here about that. We've been
so
here
so
since 8.
being a business owner, being a person who
Yeah.
has to be on top of what you're selling, what are the top 3 texts you don't want to have?
text, like people text message.
People like, hey, Matt, there's somebody died in our bar. Kind of text.
Dot.
No, that's actually a fantastic question. And I hands down, the absolute worst thing, and it's happened to us on numerous occasions, the point of sale system isn't working.
Oh no!
Because that's basically either there's no revenue, there's no money coming in at that point. And we've had, in fact, at our Green Jeans location, it was like the second week we were open. We're doing a big anniversary or grand opening party, and the internet went down.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I mean, and we're talking thousands of dollars that are just down that we'll
Yeah.
never ever see. So that hands down, it's gotten to the point like I turn my phone off the second I get home because
you have to, because there's always going to be something.
it is, and it
Your
you
wife's
know,
like, I've had enough.
right, and I'm the type like I'll hear the you've got mail. And then my heart rate just spikes, and my blood pressure goes up. And it doesn't even. The text message could be, "Hey, we had a great night," But at that point, it's like this Pavlovian response that
It
I'm.
makes sense, though.
Like,
At some
as long
point,
as you don't look at it.
Right.
At some point, you just
There's
got to
nothing
shut
wrong.
it down. You got to go, I mean,
Yeah.
is the place on fire? No? All right.
Well, and if it is on fire, is there anything I'm going to do that the fire department won't get to first?
Right.
Um,
Get all the
Oh,
money.
they
Matt,
just
put it in
call
your-
911 first.
right.
Matt,
If you say no, then you're an idiot.
Yeah. Then you're fired. Sorry, you're fired.
So we got to ask
Also,
this.
we're all fired because we just burned down our place.
Let's talk about your opening a new tap room. Can we talk about this?
There's a new tap room being opened in Uptown. I don't know if you've heard about this place.
Oh, this isn't you guys. I'm sorry. I fucking completely. I
yeah,
spaced that.
that's not us. I wish it was because it's
Yeah.
really this new brewery is really revolutionizing.
It's like Urban
Mattress
Company.
Brewing Company.
I've heard
such
this.
a big deal. These guys. Now, I mean, these brewers are
It's
world
on the edge,
renowned.
on the edge, on the fringe. They're
I mean,
out
they're
of
brewing-
their minds brewing.
making beers that the world's never even heard of.
Correct, yeah, I've
they're,
heard this.
They're just completely above and beyond
Urban
anything.
Mattress Brewing Company.
Urban Mattress Brewing Company. I've met the brewer a couple of times.
Yeah.
He's a really good good
I've
dude.
heard he's out there, though. I heard he's out there.
He is knucking futz. I mean, he is crazy.
On the fringe of the brewing industry. He's doing things that people thought was crazy.
I mean,
but he did it anyway.
imagine Leonardo da Vinci. I mean, this genius writing backwards, staring in the mirror naked.
Yeah.
Just crazy. This is how this
Yeah.
guy brews. I hear he actually brews naked.
I heard he shows up and people don't even know that he owns the place, and then he does some sort of beer formula chalk line on the
Yes.
on the window,
But exactly.
and they're like, we called the police, but then they showed up and we were like, this recipe it's perfect.
It's like
perfect.
hemp's piss.
And so then they let him stay, and then they finally find out that he actually owns the place.
Yeah.
He is the boss.
And it was all this big joke.
Urban Mattress Brewing Company, the UMBC.
Can I go back to the question about the worst techs? So
Yeah.
the POS system goes down. Was there ever times I don't know what to do? I guess booze are free tonight, guys. Woo!
I mean, yes, actually. I mean, that's why it's such. I mean, of all the texts we get, it really is like the fire example. There's nothing I can do. Okay, cool.
No. You have interest.
So either it's figured out or call the person who can. But in the case of the POS system, I am the person, and so we actually had a moment where our laptop went out, and they called me up, and so I'm frantically trying to find a new laptop, get all the software installed.
Oh man!
Within 10 minutes of opening, and then of course the install doesn't go right, and I'm just.
You could have called me. I'd have helped you.
I will next time. In fact, I'm going to give my staff your number.
I'll be all, I'm sorry, who is this?
Who the fuck are you? And then there was another time where it was an internet problem.
Yeah.
And
it's just some shit you can't handle. I mean, this is
you're at the mercy of Comcast, which is so helpful when things go down.
Oh, they love to talk to you on the phone.
They love it. They're so helpful. And this was back. I don't know if you remember when Lindsay was working with us and brewing with me, and so she was bartending that night. And I've never been just to such an elevated level of stress as I was this day. And I'm sitting there, fuck, shit, fuck. And she's like, Matt, shut up. There's customers right here. We'll take cash. Chill the fuck out, dude. She was a real cool employee to have, and we needed that. I needed that just slap in the face of,
Well, I need to work for you. I'd be that guy.
Hell yeah, you'd slap me up.
I'd be like, hey, man, here's what we're going to do. We're going to comp those people and just let them walk away because it's alcohol. And then we're going to fix the fucking problem, and we're going to do, we're going to live tomorrow. We're going to wake up and not die.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're coming up at the end of our first show.
We are.
I want to tease this for the second show. Is my experience with cannabis as a young kid.
Cannabis sativa. Is that correct?
just THC in general.
Oh, I thought. Oh, okay.
And it's gonna be interesting stories because I have 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's it's
So-
a proper show.
Come down to Balloon Fiesta Park. It's free.
It's free.
$1 to park, and there is a alcohol garden, and we've got one of our. Cool. I want to thank everybody for listening. This is the end of the first hour. I want to thank Matt
Hey, thank you guys for having
for
me.
a lot
Good
of.
to see you as
I
always.
want to thank Matt for a lot of things. Matt's a great person. If you're in the Albuquerque Metroplex area, go to Broken Trail. Matt, he's a great guy. He knows how to make liquor. He knows how to make beer, and he's a great guy.
I appreciate that, man. You guys are good people.
Oh no, we're not.
Well, I know. I'm just saying that to be nice on the
Yeah,
air.
I understand. I understand. You're saying
I'll
that
tell
to
you
be
the
nice. I get it. So if you're in the Albuquerque area, go to Green Jeans Farmery. There's a tasting room for Broken Trail. It's upstairs. There is not a drink they've ever made me that I was not like, oh wow, that's a good drink, you know. And then you have a main room. What are the hours of your main room? Because I went on a Sunday and you guys weren't open.
It's all over the place. We're open now Tuesday through Thursday Tuesday through Saturday from 4 to closing-ish.
Yeah, 4 to closing.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Whatever that happens to be that
Yeah.
night. So we've cut back the hours at our main location a
Yeah.
little bit.
Just
Shifted the focus to
the tasting room.
and we're working on some cool collaborative stuff with
And
UMBC.
you're doing a lot of distribution. I mean, people can go and buy your alcohol.
Total
in,
Wine,
Total Wine.
Jubilation,
Yeah.
Kelly's.
How's that going?
Fantastic. We've had a
Yeah.
fantastic year. Pepe the Mule.
And you're still in the airport, right?
They can
We
get a
still
Pepe the
got-
Mule in the can.
Canned Pepe the Mule. Take a can.
I know our fans. They like it in the can.
It 10% alcohol. It's a beer. You can take it anywhere.
Yeah.
Nice portable format. Take it camping. Take it hiking.
Yeah.
So Pepe the Mule's been
Kind
crazy.
of-
The vodka's going nuts. We're about 2 cases shy from finishing our second barrel of whiskey.
See, and I guess I missed the whiskey, the official whiskey. Did you guys have a thing?
We didn't do it. We didn't do a thing like we did last year.
I don't know why.
Mostly, that was a real successful event.
Yeah?
But I felt like we had enough different things going on this summer
Okay.
that I wanted to let the bourbon kind of organically.
But your bourbon's there now.
It is.
I saw you, Matt. Your bourbon has matured. I see it's ready.
Well, we don't use that term too
Yeah.
loosely.
Interesting.
but-
Interesting.
Um,
I see your bourbon's ready. It's like a telenovela. You hide behind the curtain.
right. It's a good bourbon. I'm so excited with that.
So, what is the name of the bourbon?
Tres Pistolas Bourbon Whiskey.
How well has that?
Incidentally featured in Whiskey Advocate in June. which
Really?
was- yeah, really awesome. One thing that's really cool, and people take this for granted, but it sounds obvious. We're the only New Mexico-made bourbon.
Correct. And people are like, nope, that's not true. This other one, they don't make it.
And so
They buy it and
Whiskey-
put their label on it.
Right. So Whiskey Advocate wanted a representative whiskey from every state, and
There it is.
and it had to be made. It had to be locally made, and so
You're it.
That was it.
So the other place in town doesn't make their own whiskey?
they don't make their own bourbon.
Oh.
They don't make bourbon. Yeah,
I didn't know that. Well, because the bourbon takes 2 years.
it takes a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What do you think of it, Mr. Bourbon Man?
of my bourbon,
Yeah.
I love it. This batch was a little bit spicier, a little bit smokier than the first batch.
Yeah?
So I felt like it was a little bit
I have not tried
more
the new
matured.
batch.
Come quick, it's running out.
Yeah.
But we should have another barrel sometime in December.
Fuck, man.
So the other cool thing about this batch was we released a limited number of cases to our distributor to go out to bars and restaurants.
Yeah.
So that was really cool, and part of the other reason we didn't want to do a big launch event
Yeah.
was kind of let it go out and into the
Yeah, I
world.
know, I gotcha. Let the world see it.
Yeah.
What I love about you is like when I first met you, you're like, I'm gonna make a bourbon. It's gonna take 2 years. I hope we make it the 2 years. And now we're at the first New Mexico hemp festival, and you're the only alcohol
exclusive
here.
alcohol
You're
provider for
exclusive.
Hempfest. That's pretty cool.
You're not only
and-
exclusive, but you've got the bourbon's out. It's here.
Yeah, and hats off to the Alibi for
Ian's gonna sit down
giving
for a
us an
second.
invitation, letting us come out and do that.
Yeah.
We've got Holy Ghost vodka out today. We've
Yeah.
got all our beers, and that's for us a really cool opportunity to show off our product line. A lot of these beer festivals, you're kind of hiding under the umbrella of the 48 other breweries.
Yeah. Is
in
it really
Albuquerque.
48?
I don't know.
It's
Pretty,
fucking up
I
there.
bet it's pretty close to that.
I bet you it is. Yeah.
So,
if
question,
not more.
question. I know that you're not affiliated maybe with the Urban Mattress brewing company.
We're trying to do some collaboration stuff with
You're gonna
them,
do some collaborations.
but like mostly I just want to learn from the guy.
Yeah. Well, I just want to know if maybe you could pass it on to the guy.
Yeah.
That when that place opens for sure, maybe we could help, do some stuff there at the opening or be there.
Yeah, I've got an email address for the guy.
Okay.
And I'll reach out and like I said, he's crazy. But I think he'd be into something like that.
Urban Mattress Brewing Company, guys. If you
That's
don't know,
that's an interesting name in
if you
itself.
don't know, now you know.
Check them out on Facebook.
Yeah.
They've got a really, they're starting to get their
They got
social
a
media
Facebook
presence.
page. Yeah. They're really on the fringe. They're on the edge of just the brewing industry.
And
the rules are being broken right and left,
Right, and that's really just the way this guy rolls.
Yeah, he's crazy.
But he once took a boiled egg and made an IPA out of it with his bare hands.
That's intense, man.
Right?
That is
made a vinaigrette out of that. Which
Oh
is
my
pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
right, and then made a balsamic vinegar reduction out of the vinegar.
He's like, I just want to say right now, I'll take your breakfast and IPA it. And he dropped the mic.
It's
Right.
breakfast in bed. I thought it was the whole plan.
Bam, bam. It's done. It's done. It's in the books. So yeah, if you can get a contact with them, we'd really like to be a part of the Urban Mattress Brewing Company open.
That'd be a lot of fun. I'll reach out to some friends and see what I can.
There's a lot of buzz on that. But
as there should be. Albuquerque
Yeah.
hasn't seen a brewery like this.
Oh, it's launching. It's one of those things. We're gonna finish. Ian is sitting down with us right now. We're gonna finish this hour. We got 2 more hours. We're gonna do one at 3, around 3-ish. Then we're gonna do run around 5-ish. 'Cause that's the Albuquerque way.
Roll at
3-ish and
Hempfest, man.
5-ish.
It was his name Dennis. I want to thank Dennis for coming on. One of our mics has got some. Is it that one? Is it that one there?
I think it's mine.
Okay, it's probably the cord.
Right.
But I want to thank. Is his name Dennis? That guy that was here earlier.
I wasn't here when
Bill. I'm sorry, Bill.
way off.
Dennis Bill. Way
GM.
dude, he listen to the first part of the show. He was amazing. That was pretty cool. Bill Delaney. He's got a dispensary in Pagosa Springs.
I think.
Go ahead.
Do you know what I think would be a fantastic topic? You were talking about bringing somebody else on.
Sure.
Are the finances of having a dispensary? That's something
Yeah.
that's always been curious to me because
If we
you
could find
can't
someone-
use traditional banking.
We should ask that guy because he was from Colorado. He has a
There's
dispensary in
And
Colorado.
Oh, sorry. There's the person speaking at the symposium right now is speaking on starting cannabis-based businesses.
Yeah.
So he might be another person to bring over.
That's good. That's good to bring over. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good idea.
That'd be really interesting.
Because I watched
Don't
Vice,
know.
and I know there
Yeah, I was
was
going to say we watched
there
that
was
Vice
a long
one.
time where they couldn't use banks.
because
And
it's
now-
not a federal business.
But
or
now they
federal.
can. But now they can, because it was getting so dangerous. It became it was literally they were having to put a vault in a house
right.
and have it
security
armed
details.
armed guards,
security details.
like AK-47s, hanging out inside them. Yeah. So cool. So yeah, we're live down the Hempfest. Come by, come down, say hello. Oh, where's your phone? Your phone gone? Oh, okay. Well, never mind. So yeah, so we're not live on the internet network anymore, but that's fine. So we're here at Hempfest, the first one. We're having a great time, and I want to thank Matt for being on the show, Bill Delaney, Ian, for sitting down for a
Sitting
second.
down for a second. I need to
So-
get out of the sun.
Oh, absolutely. So, and we'll be back.
Do you need to
and
rehydrate?
We'll do a couple
Yes. Absolutely.
more. We are 10 drink minimum.